With 5 games to the end of the season, the summer transfer window looming, Manchester United and the entire management team is already drafting plans for the window to see which players to bring in. Now, we do know for a fact that there are so many departments United has got to improve, but one key area we need to work on is the forwards or the attack or the striking department. And whereas in the last summer we brought in a very hot striker, at least by in terms of how much promise and potential they have got in Rasmus Højlund, is not good enough. Imagine we have scored only 51 goals, conceded 50. We're not here to talk about how many we've conceded and our goal difference of positive one, but only 50 goals compared to the clubs ahead of us. Aston Villa have scored 71, Tottenham 65, Liverpool 75, Man City 80, Arsenal 82. Imagine how far off we are. So one of the key areas we've got to work on in the transfer, and Jason Wilcox is drafting a plan, is the attacking department. Now, that is where I'm here to focus. And we're going to talk about me and you together. We'll build what I would call our dream attack for Manchester United in the summer transfer window. Now, we've been linked to so many players, and it's honestly good that United is always linked to so many players, but only a few can quite fit the bill to be Manchester United players. Now, quickly, I know this looks disorganized for you, but I'll explain it for you. I'm focusing mostly on the midfield. They say in football that the foundation for a strong attack is a solid midfield. Now, that's why we need to start building it from the middle. I'll talk about the defense in another video. For this one in particular, we are focusing on the attack and the foundation, which is in the middle. Now, we do know that a football pitch is divided into 3 zones. Now, there is this first zone. I'll call it the Casemiro zone for Man United from last season. Then there is this zone, the Kobe Maino zone. And there is this attacking zone, the final third, where you have mostly your number 10 play and link up with the strikers. Now, United's performances lately, I think, have shown that we are struggling in this first zone here, the Casemiro zone. Casemiro is done, honestly. He come of age. And in the first season, when he was at Manchester United, he was so good in that position. And he was almost unplayable in that position. But he has run out of lungs, and it's understandable, and he's got injuries. So we've been linked to João Neves and Amadou Onana among so many players, but those are the 2 top players we've been linked with in that position. Both are young. João Neves, Benfica, is 19. Amadou Onana of Everton is 22. Amadou Onana, you would say, has been proven in the Premier League. He was signed for £33 million, but he's priced now at about £80 or £90 million by Everton. Now, he's good. His height, 6'4". He's a good ball winner. He's good, in attacking and winning the ball back so quickly, and then trying to, play forward. He's a forward player when he retains possession, which is a good thing about his game. This boy on the other side is exciting. He's solid and firm, short, not as tall as Amadou Onana. He's a little shorter, meaning he has got a better center of gravity and more firm to the ground. He's good with the ball, extremely good on the ball, that he can even go forward and score more goals. He has got a bit of flair to his game. He's a joy to watch, and you're thinking seeing him play with Kobe would be an amazing thing for the eye. But the issue for United is, how much money do we have? How much are we willing to spend? If you look at these 2 players, I think they are good players. Both of them are good players. If it's up to me, I would go for the younger Joao Neves. But Neves has got a buyout clause of about 120 million euros. Now, at the point where we are, that's almost 100 million pounds. Probably is way too much money. That's why we might end up going for the second priority, the second option. But if we have the money to spend, if we have 100 million pounds to spend by some reason, by some magic, then I would advise personally we go for Joao Neves, because he can play well with Kobe Maino in terms of his skill. He can give him good competition to keep improving himself, and they can grow together into something strong for a long time. But if not, I think Amadou Onana would be okay. But let me not dwell there, because for me, any of these 2 would be good for United. Kobe Maino then plays in this department where he links the middle to the attack, gets the ball from whoever wins it back, passes it to him, then tries to give us a transition, initiate our transitions, because he's quick on the ball. He can do that exceedingly well. Now, with that in mind, then we go into the forward departments. We know that Marcus Rashford is wanted out, so Garnacho will be taking his preferred left wing. Then Bruno will be now committed more to playing 10, linking the ball from here to the strikers, linking the strikers to the midfield. So he will have less work to do coming back to track back and support the midfielders or the defenders at times where we've seen him run into to get tired. So there's so many players we've been linked with in the wing where we need a player. We've got Pedro Neto of Wolves. I think he's overpriced. He's priced at about 80 million because Liverpool and Arsenal reportedly want him. For me, I think he's not good enough for the player we need. He's not close to world class yet. But he's a good player. Don't get it twisted. But I don't think he's close to really the profile of a player who we need in what we are rebuilding at Manchester United. Then Michael Olise, brilliant player, came off an injury, and he was scoring goals for fun. Him and Eze are now the biggest assets at Crystal Palace, and they are saying they are pricing the two of them at about 120 million, meaning maybe 80 for Olise and about 40 for Eze. Olise, honestly, I think for me, yes, he's a good footballer, but I think he's a bit overpriced. And I don't think this is the first priority of a department United needs to be spending a lot of their money on. I told you what is inevitable. The first player we need to sign in the summer is the replacement for Casemiro. And those players, as you can compare with Declan Rice and for how much he joined Arsenal, you have players like Moises Caicedo. Players who play this department are so expensive. That's where we need to spend most of our money. So my thinking is if we are going to spend nearly 100 million on a holding midfielder here, either Neves or whoever Onana, we cannot be having enough money to spend 80 million on a winger. And we don't need to because, you know what? We have Mason Greenwood. Because we have Mason Greenwood. Bring back Greenwood for a free. And trust me, this Man United attack will be unplayable. Because Greenwood can drift to the right, Garnacho drifts to the left. Greenwood can come in the middle. Bruno can go wide a bit. These interplays will make Manchester United unplayable because Bruno, we've noticed, plays well with players who make him play along. That's why we've seen him look like he's playing well with Amad Diallo because he's a ball carrier and he plays along. Very important part of his game because you get the best out of Bruno if you put such good players around him. If you remember the times Bruno played with Mason Greenwood, the few times they had such a beautiful chemistry because he's a ball carrier. If we get Greenwood back, we then don't need to spend any, we then need to focus the little money we will have in the summer on buying a holding midfielder, a left back who is now an important player we need to sign, and a centre back to support the backline. If we get that right, we don't have to worry about money in the window. Remember, we won't be in the Champions League, so the money won't be so much. We need to be smart in terms of how we spend. But in the event that we can't bring back Greenwood, like some people feel we can't, I still think Ahmad has shown us that if he's given the trust and the chance, he can grow into something nice, something amazing. Because him and Bruno have proven that they play well together, have proven that they click well together. Because Ahmad is a poor man's Greenwood. He can be a poor man's Greenwood given the chance because he can also carry the ball along. He gets involved in play and he makes Bruno bring the best out of him. For as long as we've got the right holding midfielder and Bruno does not have to commit a lot going back, I'm sure Bruno can play well with Ahmad and Garnacho and they can give us something exciting. They can deliver balls to Højlund. That is if they all then learn to be generous and pass the ball to the striker. For me, I believe with that, we can build a dream attack. But the first choice for me, for our attack, the first priority for me, for Manchester United, in building our attack, is one, bring this boy back. Have Ahmad as his backup, bring Greenwood back. If we have Greenwood here, have Kobe here, have Joao Neves play just behind Kobe. This, for me, will be our dream attack for Manchester United. That's what I see. That would be the dream now. The dream attack for Manchester United would be that. Like I said, why I'm adding these players because the foundation for any good attack is have a firm midfield. Very important. That's the foundation for attack because we build from the back. So whenever you play the defenders, Lisandro Martinez and Todibo, then Dalot on the right and whoever on the left have to pass the ball to these midfielders to build our attack. Kobe Maino will then be initiating the transition. This boy fights for the ball, gives it to Kobe, who then quickly initiates our transitions, and he's got that. We've seen him do that with England. You remember the game he played against Belgium, how he was again giving them the transition. Declan Rice passes him the ball, and he links up so well with Jude Bellingham. That's exactly what he's expected to do, other than having to worry about running a lot back to try and commit himself defensively. You've got a young physical player who can man this first quarter of the pitch. If that is done right, trust you me, Manchester United will be headed for the good places. Now, in terms of goals, we have a different dimension because this boy can shoot from a distance on target, meaning Hoyland can easily get chances to tap in and get maybe rebounded balls or deflect rebounded balls. Garnacho will then be put under good competition because if Garnacho, who has been the star boy now, he knows he has got Greenwood on the other side, he has got to step up his game. But also, the mobility of Garnacho and Bruno will boost our attack because Bruno, Garnacho, and the Greenwood can keep interchanging. But if you can't bring back Greenwood for whichever reason, and I keep saying that because there's a possibility he may not be able to come back, Ahmad can still be this player. We don't need to spend 80 million on a winger. The money we get from selling Marcus Rashford should be used to get this player, a holding midfielder, use the same, add a bit of the other money we have to buy a left back, left-footed player, then a centre back. And the last player we need to sign, last very important player, I'll save the best for last, part of our attack, is this man, Sahiu Girassi. And why am I saying Sahiu Girassi? He's a backup striker for Hoyland. We need him, very important. Before we spend money on a winger, when you have Greenwood, when you have Ahmad, we need a backup striker for Hoyland because we've seen it that we struggle a lot if Hoyland is not there. And this Sahiu Girassi, whose buyout clause will still be active in the summer, 15 million pounds, really, pocket change, is good enough to come in. He's giving Harry Kane a run for his money in terms of goals in the Bundesliga. I know the Bundesliga is not the English Premier League, but he's mature enough, he's good enough, and he can be an able replacement for Anthony Martial. With this, trust you me, Manchester United will score more than the 51 goals we've scored, and trust me, we'll concede way less than the 50 we've conceded. My name is Webb. This is the United Hotspot. And for me, that is the dream attack for Manchester United. Subscribe. I'll catch you later.